Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight. Hello everyone and welcome to my Bags I'll Be Review for today. I'm Lonnie from Tats. And considering that we have Halloween Ends coming out at the end of this year, well in October, fair to say Evil did not die tonight. Anyway, so that being said, the movie that we're reviewing today, we're reviewing Halloween Kills from, get more in the frame there. We're reviewing Halloween Kills from 2021, which is it's really hard, because this is the second part of a trilogy, which is, I don't know, is it more like a quartet? Because, Halloween 2018 is really, a sequel to the 1978 Halloween. So it's like, is it meant to be like a 3-part or 4-part or whatever? So that's kind of hard, so is this the second part or actually the third part of a series? I don't know. It's kind of hard to figure this stuff out. But anyway, so this is the movie that we're talking about. And right off the bat, what did I think of it? It's okay. Not great, not terrible. I could watch it, but it's just, it's just kind of in the middle for me. I will say though, it's definitely probably the bloodiest. Well, I don't know about bloodiest, but there's a lot of the title is definitely apt. There are a lot of kills in this movie, that's for sure. The movie begins. It starts off with kind of like a 12 to 20 minute kind of a prologue, I guess, where we see Lonnie Elam, the young bully from the original 1978 Halloween, and we see he's being picked on by this group of kids. And this is after the events of, the original Halloween. This is after Dr. Loomis shoots Michael Myers. He falls off the balcony, but then he gets up and walks away. So Lonnie, he's now being, picked on by these other kids bullying him, and they're, taunting him with Lonnie, weird and scrawny, and all this. And, poor Lonnie, it's like, I could sympathize with him. Anyway, so he's walking along, and he gets the sense that he's being chased, and he falls down, and then he sees Michael Myers, and so, he's cowering and kind of like curling up in a ball, and he's saying, I promise I'll never pick on Tommy Doyle again and everything. And then Michael pretty much just leaves him alone, and Michael goes back to his house, and we see young Frank Hawkins, who he goes and he's, him and his partner, they go into the Myers house, they're trying to find Michael. Well, Michael comes across Hawkins' partner, and he's, kind of got him, and everything. He's got the knife to his throat and stuff. And so Hawkins is like, put the knife down, and he tries to shoot Michael, but instead he accidentally hits his partner. And then Michael, goes out, and where he's caught by Dr. Loomis and the other officers. And so Hawkins is definitely dealing with the, the guilt of having, shot his own partner trying to catch Michael Myers. And Dr. Loomis, who, I will say, the detail and everything, the way that they made the actor look like Donald Pleasance, the way the voice artist who they got to do the impersonation of Dr. Loomis or Donald Pleasance did a really good job. It looks and it feels very much like, from the original 1978 Halloween movie. So the attention to detail was definitely very, very stunning, and they did a really good job with it. But then Dr. Loomis is like, did he kill anybody else and all this stuff? And basically Hawkins, young Hawkins, he's told by one of his fellow officers, he's like, look, dude, it's like, we'll just say that Michael Myers killed your partner, we'll just put it on him, and that was it, you did your best, but, just couldn't be helped. So anyway, so now, or did this happen before? Anyway, so it's years later, and Cameron, Lonnie's son, who is Allison's boyfriend, Allison, who's Laurie Strode's granddaughter from 2018 Halloween, he's walking home and he's on the phone. He's like trying to call his friend, and he's like, hey man, it's the friend that what was the guy's name? I'm sorry, just right now I can't remember his name. But anyway, he was the one who was walking with Allison, and they were cutting through Mr. Elrod's yard, and he tries to put the make on Allison, and she's like not having it, so she walks away, and then you get that really good kind of suspenseful scene with the motion detector lights, where Michael stalks this kid and ends up, impaling him on the fence and stabbing him, or the iron gate or whatever. And so he's like trying to call him. It's like, hey man, I need to get a hold of Allison. Is she with you? I need to, kind of, smooth things over and all this kind of stuff. And so he comes across and he sees, the Will Patton, Hawkins laying on the street, pretty much you think he's dead, which I did have a little bit of a problem with this, I have to admit, because it's like, okay, because in 2018 Halloween, you really get the sense, like, the idea was like they were going to make sure this character was definitively dead, because he hits Michael Myers with the police cruiser, and then Sartain is telling him get away from him, so he pulls out the little knife thing, whatever, and he shanks him, and then does it over and over and over again, and then he runs him over with the police cruiser and stuff. So it's like, wow. But then when Cameron goes to check on him, turns out he's still alive. Kind of interesting, but he's still alive. So okay. So then we have what you saw a lot in the trailer. You have the three strode women. You have Lori, you have Karen, you have Allison. They're on their way to the hospital, and you see that the fire department is coming, and Lori's like, no, let it burn. So they get there, and they're trying to put out the fire. One of the firefighters falls into the basement where Michael Myers is. Then he gets, Michael Myers finds him, kills him, and then the guy's like, reaching, one of the firefighters is like reaching in, hey, take my hand. Michael reaches up and grabs his hand, and then you see what was pretty much in the trailer. Now, here's the thing, what I did is, I compared the two. I watched the extended cut with the theatrical cut, and I'm going to be honest with you folks. Unfortunately, if you're thinking like in terms of blood and gore and all that kind of stuff, the extended cut's not going to really give you much more. In terms of that, mostly what you saw in the trailer and what you saw in the the theatrical cut is pretty much what's in the extended cut. The extended cut is kind of way more like focusing on, like moments of character development, things like this, and then you got the alternate ending. But anyway, so Michael comes out. He does his massacre of all the firefighters and everything, which I remember that was kind of funny here a few months back when this sparked controversy over the whole, oh my God, like Halloween kills should be banned because Michael Myers kills first responders and all this kind of stuff. And then it seemed like every other time you turn around, somebody was having somebody was wanting this movie to be banned for something, which, in all honesty, it's just going to make it a bigger hit. It's just going to make people want to watch it more. But anyway, so, you get the massacre where he kills all the firefighters and stuff. Lori gets to the hospital, and unfortunately for her, she thinks that she's killed Michael. She thinks that all of this torment and everything else has ended, and she killed him, and it's done. It's over with. She never has to worry about Michael Myers again. Turns out not to be the case. And then Michael goes and he starts killing, and he kills a lot of people. So like I said, the title Halloween Kills is pretty apt. All right. So then what ends up happening is you cut to the pretty much the Rabbit and Red Lounge, and you have people in there. They're trying to celebrate Halloween, and there's a group of people who are making noise. Well, it turns out that this group of people is 4 people. It's 2 girls, 2 guys. One of them is Lonnie Elam, now grown up. You have Tommy Doyle, who I honestly do not know why they did not get Brian Andrews to come back and play the part, but now he's played by Anthony Michael Hall, which Anthony Michael Hall did a good job in here. I thought he was definitely a really good element to the movie. You have Lindsay Wallace. They got Kyle Richards to come back and play her character, and then you got Nurse Marion. They got Nancy Stevens to come back and play that character, and so Tommy gets up on stage and he talks about, like, yeah, this town, 40 years ago, this is, Michael Myers has been just kind of he's been like a tumor, like a cancer on the town of Haddonfield and everything else. And, hopefully, we'll never have to see anything like that ever again, and all this kind of stuff. But then turns out it's, not long they find out, what happened from the previous Halloween, in the 2018 Halloween. That, there was the bus, crashed off the road, a lot of the inmates escaped. They get word that one of the inmates turns out to be Michael Myers. And so now Tommy and Lonnie and Lindsay and Nurse Marion, they decide they're not going to sit here and let themselves be victimized, that they're going to pretty much get everybody together. And they, this is where everybody starts, chanting, evil dies tonight, evil dies tonight. And so they go out and, they form a mob. And they'd say, we're all going to go out and we're going to hunt Michael Myers down. We're going to find him. We're going to kill him. We're going to put an end to it and everything else. He's not going to be terrorizing Haddonfield anymore, which, yeah, that worked out pretty well in Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers, didn't it? Getting a lynch mob, together to go kill Michael Myers. So anyway, it turns out they bring in Hawkins and they're able to save his life. And he's pretty much wheeled into the same kind of like, recovery room as Laurie. And eventually Laurie does find out that Michael is still alive and she wants to get up and go out and, find him and finish it. But she can't, and so Karen and Allison, they both decide that, well, at first, Karen tells Allison, to stay with her grandmother and to stay safe and everything. But Allison decides she's not going to have it. She wants to go out and hunt Michael Myers down because, everything that, Michael Myers has done to them and killed her father and everything else. So she wants revenge for that. Sorry. And so she goes out with Tommy and the lynch mob and everything. And, she goes out with Lonnie and Cameron and everybody. And, they all go and they're trying to find Michael Myers. And then it's just Michael Myers killing more people. And then you got Lonnie comes up with the idea that, well, wait a minute, here's the thing. It doesn't seem like, and that's kind of a thing though too, is Laurie finds out that Michael, his motivation is not to get her. They finally figure out that his motivation is he just wants to go back to his home. He wants to go back to the Myers house. That's his main motivation. He wants to go back home. And so he's trying to get there, and then he gets to his house, and then he finds out that this gay couple, Big John and Lil John, they're living in his house. They renovated it and stuff, and so he decides he's going to take these guys out, And that was another thing that they wanted this movie banned for, was because Michael Myers is stalking a gay couple and things like this. So Michael Myers is homophobic and all this. And so he just wants to have his house back. And so, Allison and Karen and Tommy and it all comes in. I'm trying not to give away too much, but it's kind of hard not to, because obviously it's like this movie doesn't really have a definitive end to it, because it's basically, we all know this is the second part of a trilogy, so it's left open-ended. Nothing is really resolved. It's just kind of filler to kind of get you into the next movie, to get you set up for Halloween Ends, where we're really going to see the big showdown between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode, which, But anyway, so I thought the movie was okay. Like I said, it's middle of the road. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's terrible. I think it's just kind of so-so. The kill scenes are really good. There's some good inventive kills. It's very bloody. It's very gory. And the thing is like, for a movie like this, if you just want to see Michael Myers, if you want a Halloween movie where you see Michael Myers just kill a lot of people, this is what you want. This is going to be the movie. This is going to be what you want, man. You're going to go for this. But in terms of the story, in terms of the plot, character development, things like this movie definitely has quite a number of issues with it. This movie has gotten a lot of hate, and sorry, and I could kind of understand why it does. Part of it is because the things that like John Carpenter has come out and said, and that Jamie Lee Curtis has come out and said, and a lot of it having to do with trashing Halloween 2. Now that's really not a good thing because like John Carpenter has come out and said, yeah, I'm a terrible screenwriter. I did a horrible job. Me and Deborah Hill, we did a horrible job writing Halloween 2. We just Xeroxed the first movie. The idea of making Laurie and Michael brother and sister was a stupid and horrible idea. Halloween 2 is just such a bad film and all this kind of stuff. And then, Jamie Lee Curtis coming out and saying that, oh my God, the thing about Halloween 2 is I spent most of the movie, sitting in a bed or laying in a bed, and all this kind of stuff. Jamie Lee Curtis spends the majority of the movie laying in a bed. She gets up and does a little bit of stuff, but not by much. But here again, she spends the majority of the movie laying in a bed, recovering from her injuries from her fight with Michael. John Carpenter, even though he pretty much trashed Halloween 2, not a good idea when you consider that Halloween 2, myself included, Halloween 2, most people love that movie. Like I said, I'm included in that. I love Halloween 2. I think it's fantastic. If I really, and to be truthfully honest with you, I think I'm kind of on the train that a lot of people are on. When it comes to okay, if I had to watch a movie after the original Halloween, would I rather delve into the 2018 Halloween and then this one? Or would I rather go watch the 1981 Halloween 2? The answer is pretty simple. I'd rather just go watch the 1981 Halloween 2. This isn't bad, but that was kind of a lot of where the heat and the hate came from. It's just both John Carpenter and Jamie Lee Curtis dissing Halloween 2, which is a fan favorite to a lot of people. It is the definitive sequel. It is the best one. It is the one that they love. And it's the one. That's the thing. Most people, even if Carpenter feels this is a better version, most people would much rather just go watch Halloween 2, myself included. But I can enjoy this for what it is, and I understand this. I do know a lot of people were really irritated by the fact this didn't have a definitive ending. And, and I think a lot of people are kind of irritated by the fact that this has to be a trilogy. I think they kind of I think everybody just wants to hurry up and get to the conclusion, get it over with and just get it done, And I think that's where a lot of the hate for this movie comes. It's a second act. It is just filler. It's just, getting you from the first movie to the third movie. So, like I said, it's gory, it's bloody. You do get some pretty gruesome kills, and Michael Myers kills a lot of people. That's, if you want to just see that, that's fine. You're good here. But just in terms of the story, in terms of the characters and things like this, in terms of motivation and things like that, it's just, this movie definitely has some issues with it. But, I could watch it. I could be entertained, even though, like I said, I would much rather, if I'm going to watch a follow-up after watching the 1978 Halloween, I'm going to go get Halloween 2. But, I can be entertained enough to watch, after watching the 78, watch the 2018, and then put this on, and I can kind of enjoy it for what it is. And, but yeah, just, I would definitely say, kind of watch it for that. Just watch it to see Michael Myers do his thing. The extended cut, I definitely recommend over the theatrical cut. I like the alternate ending much more in the extended cut because obviously this movie is the second part of a trilogy, and the whole thing is just to get you set up and get you geared up to want to go watch, Halloween Ends when that comes out later this year. And, the ending in the theatrical cut is very much a letdown, so I can understand why a lot of people didn't like it. Because I remember when I did the comparison, I was like, wow, yeah, that ending kind of sucked. It was like, no wonder, because it just doesn't do anything. It just kind of, at least this ending here kind of gets you a little more pumped, gets you a little more psyched to see what's going to come next. One of the biggest things that I had a problem with too with this movie was, I feel like, Scott Teems, Danny McBride, and David Gordon Green, I feel like these guys kind of wrote themselves into a corner because, with Michael Myers killing so many people and so many characters getting killed off and this and that, and like just I felt like they didn't really save enough for the next movie. I mean, I could be wrong. We have to wait till Halloween Ends comes out before I can say that. But I feel like they just kind of really wrote themselves into a corner. I feel like they just certain characters they should not have killed off. They should have kept them to go into the next movie and things like this. I just kind of feel like they kind of shot themselves in the foot that way. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how Halloween Ends turns out. But but even still, I'm ready for Halloween Ends. I want to see how this is going to conclude. And then I agree with a lot of the Halloween fans. I hope it would be nice after Halloween Ends that maybe at some point, they'll decide, well, we did the Laurie Strode trilogy. Now we need to do a Jamie Lloyd trilogy. And let's get Danielle Harris back and let's have her do 3 more Halloween movies. I'd be down for that. I'd like to see, and hell, if you want to say like, we're going to, this is going to be jumping off from Halloween 4 and we're going to ignore 5 and on, I'm fine with that. And you can even bring back Ellie Cornell to play Rachel. I'm cool with that too. So who knows? Fingers crossed, we can hope. But anyway, yeah, Halloween Kills, I would definitely say. Go ahead and watch it, but I would just say, just watch it if you just want to watch Michael Myers do his thing. In terms of the story and everything else, you're probably still better off just going and watching, Halloween 2 from 1981. But I think it's okay. It's fair. It's not great. It's not horrible, but that's just my opinion. So, oh my God, over 21 minutes. I'm sorry that the video took this long. So if anybody took the time to watch this, I thank you all for doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave it a like. If you haven't already, go and subscribe to the Body Bags channel. There's a different reviewer, one for every day of the week. I'm the Saturday reviewer. We have different guys. Everybody's all doing great stuff. We have some fun theme weeks coming up, label weeks, everything else. So sounds good to me, and I'm looking forward to it. So that's it. Everybody, take care. Have a good night, and yeah. Sorry, but evil doesn't die tonight. Have a good night.